Hello and welcome to InstructorLive. I'm Beth and I'm here to bring you part 1 of our Reset and Renew. Reset and Renew is a wonderful program that Sharon and I have developed for you in order for you to let go of maybe patterns or things that you're doing or thinking, situations that you're stuck in where you feel a little bit tight, maybe not as healthy as you used to be, maybe your energy has got a little bit low. We're here to help you clear all of that heavy stuff away and to re-find your inner fires, get your creative fires going, and to give you a little bit of energy so that you can create a wonderful, healthy, fit, active and happier life. So this is our first session, so I'm going to take you through very slowly. And our first session is going to focus on becoming more aware of the body. Why? Because the body is very much connected to our present environment. We're sensitive to temperature, to sound, to others around us, even the room that we practice in. So I'm going to be referencing that a lot, asking you how you feel before and after. Do take a moment. This is going to be a slow session for you, and then over the next few sessions we'll start to build on that with more complexity, more clarity, and you can let me know how you're doing along the way by letting me know via my wall on the InstructorLive page. Let us begin. So you're going to come to your mat. Hopefully you've got a mat at home as well. If not, you can have a nice big towel or a big blanket to give you a little bit of padding if you've got a hard floor, but you do want it to be nice and balanced, okay? We're going to start with the knees nice and wide and the bum on our feet. This is called hair pose, Shashankasana, and it's a wonderful way to work on releasing the tensions of the thighs, the calves, and also bringing flexibility into the top of the ankles so that you can sit in a balanced and easy way. If it's too much, you can always roll a towel up or a blanket. You can put it underneath your bum or you can put it underneath your ankles so that you can sit upright like me. Okay? So closing the eyes first of all. You're going to put your hands on your tummy, one on top of the other, and you're going to practice allowing your tummy to soften into your hands. And that may be quite an interesting challenge because quite often we're told to pull our tummies in or suck our tummies in, whereas here I'm asking you to let your tummy out, let your tummy say hello to your hands. Again, it is easier with the eyes closed because you can tune in to that physical sensation, more less distractions. On the inhale, the belly comes out to meet your hands, and on the exhale, your belly will naturally soften and your hands will fall back towards your tummy as it meets your spine. Let's go 5 more times. Round belly and exhale, soft belly. Good, 4 more. In and out through the nose if you can, unless you've got a blocked nose. This also helps us focus on the experience of the breath, and it warms the breath as well as it comes into the body. 1 more. Nice round belly on the inhale, and the belly will naturally soften backwards towards your spine on the exhale. How are you feeling? Yeah, let's take the hands down on the floor. Take a little moment here. Try and stay in this pose with you. I'm going to talk to you. You can listen to me whilst you're in this pose, okay? Please don't come out of it. I know that your ankles and your thighs may be feeling this, but this is a wonderful place to start, okay? If you're getting lots of feedback and sensations from the body, this means you've got a good connection with your body. You're starting the dialogue, the relationship, the conversation has begun, okay? So stay with it if you can. And as you've found, as you've leant forwards in your hands, it takes a little bit of pressure off your legs and your ankles, okay? Do remember those 2 options of rolling the blanket up underneath the ankle or underneath your bottom to rest on. That will make it much easier if you're new to this and it's quite a strong and intense physical response. Then we're going to take the elbows to the floor. So I've got my knees wide, also my elbows wide. So they're mirroring my lower body and my hands resting on top of the other. And then I rest my upper body, and for me my head rests on the floor. For some of you at home, it might be that your head just dingle-dangles here, like this. Or you can make 2 little fists with your hands, creating a prop, a little stand for your head to rest on. That could also be replaced with a block or another blanket. Essentially, being able to rest is the most important here. So you pick a variation with the hands that works best for you. And if you have started high with something underneath your head, you might find that over the next few sessions that prop becomes less required, shall we say, and the head will start to drop until it meets the floor, till there's less between you and the floor, less between you and other, less between you and the opportunity to relax into the floor underneath. 3 more breaths. Practice that belly breathing. Nice round belly on the inhale, and the belly will naturally soften back to the spine on the exhale. 2 more. Focus on watching your breath rather than trying to control it. 1 more. Good. Then looking forwards, lifting the chest first, separating the hands the same distance as your shoulders, and we're back in this position again. But you may find it's a little bit easier that your hips have sunk a little bit lower down, that maybe even the skin, the flesh on the top of the ankles is starting to let go. Yeah? We tip forwards, waiting for the blood to come back in our feet. I know that this is quite an intense one. If you're new to yoga practice, it will get easier, I promise. And then I've just wiggled my hips to get my knees underneath me, so I'm on all fours. We're then going to tuck the toes underneath, and you're going to stick your bottom out so that you're getting a lovely stretch running along the